Awesome. Ganja Token. I have to say, this one is going to be fun for this AMA. So welcome everybody tonight. Actually pleased to be here with Reese, Casey, and Curtis from Ganja Token, the team there. This project stuck out to me, obviously, since I've been in the cannabis industry. I feel it makes me feel old saying it, but since about 2012. So when I first seen it, it popped up in our deal flow portal, Curtis. So immediately people just start tagging me, right? And obviously I hopped in. We had a good conversation. It really seems like a strong team. From my experience so far, this project has already launched. Successful launch, by the way. Congratulations to you all and everybody in the project. So now we want to do this follow-up AMA and really give you the platform to speak to new investors and really update your current investors as well. So generally, just again, this is all organic. So really, for starts, any one of you is welcome to lead it off or speak for one another. But I would really find it helpful to learn a little more just about the team, but behind the project, what brought it together, right? Like, what is your past experience and how did that maybe lead up to this opportunity? And just kind of all come to fruition with the idea with Ganja Token and saying, hey, we can use this, that, and the other and put this together. How did that, come about? I'm just curious.
So I'm the founder. I created Ganja Token on the Rinkeby testnet. So my reason for it was I was very interested and curious about blockchain technology, cryptocurrency. It intrigued me. So I come from a coding background. I don't have a degree in coding, but I'm an amateur coder, and I used to do professional Pokemon competition playing as well. And through Pokemon, I learned to code and hack consoles, and I fell in love with hacking and coding. So the next step after Pokemon, you always move on to is blockchain, and it really intrigued me. But I never invested at the start. I studied it for about 6 months, and then I actually made my own token first before I even bought my first token, just so I knew what it was all about. And once I studied it and learnt it and realized like the technology and just the platforms and the decentralized things behind it was just an awesome find for myself. So once I created Ganja, I was like, oh well, I'll go out and spread my word and just to see if I can get anyone else who can help me, because I started this because I live in Australia, and medical marijuana is very hard to get. It only just became legal a couple of years ago, but it's not as mainstream as around the world. Only people with cancer and life-threatening injuries can use it. Not people like me, that I have autism, OCD, and it's a disorder. And since the age of about 11, I had my first bong and joint, and it changed my life. To other people that smoke weed, it's recreational. You get high. I don't get high. I feel normal when I smoke weed. I can socialize. I can talk to people. It changed my life. So I was on other medications as a child for my disorder, and Ritalin, etc., and it never really worked for me. It made me feel not myself. I didn't have a personality. I was mundane, very boring. And then in my teens, I changed to pot, and it just opened up my world and opened up my just my opportunities. So I ran a business from a young age. I started my first business at 22, and I believe all my ideas and intuitions and goals to get to that business stage at such a young age was to do with marijuana. And I decided to make Ganja Token to make it more accessible to start off with for other people like me that have trouble getting the medicinal side of things, and to make the price a lot cheaper as well, because at the moment I buy on the black market because it's illegal here in Australia. I pay about $300 for an ounce of weed, and if you bought that through the government here in Australia legally, it costs you about $550. So I don't see it really upset me. People that really need this medication get charged double the amount when they could just go to someone on the black market and get it for half the price. And then I started seeing a lot of parents and family members getting in trouble through the law just trying to get this medication. As well as I live in on the Gold Coast, Australia, and right near us is Nimbin, and Nimbin is one of the biggest marijuana capitals of Australia. And I used to go there a lot as a child and through my teens and early 20s, and just learning about their culture. And they have a police station there and everything, but everyone is smoking weed there. So that's why I didn't understand how one town can change in Australia, but the whole of Australia couldn't. So I decided to make a coin to get it out there and more accessible to people and around the world, and to actually take over the industry as a whole. So the cannabis, marijuana industry is a very successful industry, and it's only been legal for less than a decade, especially in the US and in Canada and everywhere like that, which is unbelievable. I thought it would never become legal, but it has. So it's a very good step forward there. But the prices and the tax and everything to do with that is just absolutely ridiculous as well. So it's still even cheaper to buy it from a friend that grows it themselves, sort of thing. So I thought, well, if we can make a currency to do with this, to bring the actual, because the cannabis industry has always been decentralized. It only just became centralized, like I said, not even a decade ago. Centralized means legal on proper things with taxes and everything. And I thought we could bring it back to the people, make it the whole industry decentralized, reduce taxes, reduce prices, and bring it back to the people and get this government middleman out and less involved in the industry. And I've spoken to a lot of farms and a lot of dispensaries, and a lot of their products actually get dropped as well from the quality from the government. It needs to be a certain standard, and their standards too high, so they lose a lot of their profit as well just by offcuts. And I wanted to reduce it on that as well. And like I said, I met Casey and Reese through the cryptocurrency scene, and I technically stalked them for about a month. I was looking for my core team, and I knew I needed these guys. Casey just had one of the best business backgrounds I've ever seen in my life, and Reese is one of the smartest tech developers I've ever met as well. I thought, I'm not trying to be up myself, I thought I was quite well. Then I met Reese, and I've got nothing on Reese. He can do 3 months of work in a couple of days if you just let him go and do his thing. And yeah, I just went from there and told them my story, and they jumped straight on board. They were amazing help, and we got going with different types of partnerships. We linked up with Spectra Token, which was an autism token before launch, and then we had a successful launch. I think it was close to $300,000 in sales, and at day 2 we were at a market cap of nearly 600,000. But then we had a couple of faults on our platform, our launch platform and stuff like that. And we got it all sorted. It's all fine now, but there's a couple of faults there. And then we've just stalled a bit as well from our listings for Coin Market Cap and CoinGecko. So we list on them daily, we apply daily. But when we first made our first application, it was quite vague. And we got knocked back for being sensitive material. And that's just put off a bit of investors as well until we can get that sorted, because most new investors, they like to see you on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. But we recently got on CoinScout, which is a Canadian listing company, and they have been nothing but supportive. And even the owner tweeted out on our listing and said, it's legal in Canada, with a smiley face, happy to have you on here. And like I said, we just had so much support. And once we launched, we didn't realize we'd have this many deals and partnerships and everything to go through. So we were quite involved in our community right before the launch and even after. But the last couple of days, we've just been sorting out all the listings, sorting out all the partnerships, and still getting in the community as well. But mainly focusing on that so we can move forward on our roadmap. We've already completed all of part 1 but our voting system, and the only reason we haven't completed that yet is because we've already decided the first month of our donations will go to autism awareness charity, just because we linked with Spectra Token, and that's their whole thing. And I've got autism, my daughter has autism, and Reese's child has, and Casey loved the idea. So we decided that would happen for the first month, and then the second month we'll get our community voting system done. And we're already, I think, halfway through part 2, and we've got 4 parts to do. And Reese has just been unbelievable. He's already starting on part 3, building the NFT shop and everything like that, and that's close to complete as well. So we've just been non-stop working behind the scenes, and that was the main purpose of Ganja Token, was to start off with taking over the medical side, making it a lower cost, and incorporating it and getting it more accessible to people around the world. And then the second stage of Ganja Token will take over the industry as a whole, and decentralize the whole industry. It's because every cryptocurrency wants to take over the whole currency, and it doesn't work like that. The best way is to take it over by industry. And if we take over one part of the cannabis industry, which is the medicinal side in the payments and transfers, and then eventually take over the whole industry, it is a lot of a more successful goal than Bitcoin and Ethereum trying to take over the whole market as one. But yeah, if I'll let Casey and Reese want to jump in as well about it. I'm a talker too, Taylor. I apologize if I keep rambling on. I'm always like that.
Listen, Curtis, I was just gonna say, you really blew me away, and no pun intended. Like, that was a great intro, my friend, and I can actually relate, not to autism specifically, but I have seizures and other conditions that I have used cannabis for, and you know, I've had family members with cancer, and they've benefited. So, you know, being in the industry, seeing it work, being that it's worked for me, that's what brought me into cannabis at a very, in terms of finance, getting into it, right? Whenever I found the connection, like, oh, wow, outside of recreational use, this is actually benefiting my health and helping like family and other people, right? So I totally relate with you there. That's, you know, what made me passionate about cannabis. That's what, you know, really drove me into the sector. So, you know, hearing that, that's awesome. That tells me a lot about your passion behind your project, right? But before I start diving in, you know, to everything, awesome. I love it. Reese, Casey, did you guys want to jump in and maybe introduce yourself before, you know, I start asking more questions and getting to that?
I mean, Curtis covered a lot there, so there's not a whole bunch to add, except for, you know, when he brought it to me and Reese, you know, we loved the project, and, you know, we were really taken in with the passion of Curtis and, you know, what he wants to get done and how he wants to get it done, and, you know, for his daughter and for other people that need these products. There's just so much imperial data out there right now that, you know, it can't be disputed that the benefits to medical marijuana, they can't be denied, and some people still do deny it. There's still a stigma about it, and you know, we wanted to launch this coin to fight all that, because the bottom line is people's lives have been ruined just with people trying to get their kids these products. And, you know, like you said, with cancer, like, people need these products. And, you know, we thought that we wanted to do something that is basically fighting the good fight. So we put together the most extensive roadmap we could with how we can do those sort of things. And we're now executing, and it is going so well. We have so many things behind the scenes with partnerships and things to roll out. I'm actually blown away with how much support we have from the community and other people. So this is an amazing project, and I can't wait till we just get farther down the road.
Nice. Casey, just real quick for you and Reese, so I understand. It's basically Curtis's project, his dream, his baby. He brought it to you guys, and you're acting as the devs and the core team on the technical side. Am I right there?
It
I
was
just want to jump. Yeah, I just want to jump in and say real quick, sorry, Casey. I couldn't do it by myself. These guys are the experts. I needed to do this, so I couldn't have done it without these guys. It wouldn't have even been possible without Casey and Reese.
yeah. So basically,
Totally.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Taylor. But yeah, it is Curtis's brainchild. When he came to us, you know, Reese has got so much ability and knowledge and experience in creating marketplaces and websites and dev and blah blah blah, all that stuff that you need for crypto. And I have an extensive background in biz development, when it comes to strategic partnerships in so many industries, including crypto and gaming and whatnot. So we all have our strong points on this team, and that's what makes it such a solid team, is we all have our strong points. So it's all of our project at this point because we all bought in full, but it was Curtis's vision at the beginning. Yes.
Yeah, it's 100% we're shared. It's not my. I founded it, but these guys brought it to life. That's what I mean. Yeah, it's definitely me, Casey, and Reese. None of this would have been possible without them too. I'm always grateful for them.
Yeah, no, very cool, and I appreciate it. I just always try to really grasp, the teams behind projects, because essentially, like, I'm old school, right? Like, I like to invest in the teams, the passion. That's what I buy. That and that's what most people, I think, in our networks, our investors, that's what they're going to look for. So knowing that you've built a strong team, you've done your due diligence, and piece this together. So I know you're a spread out team as well. So let me ask you. I'm just going to fire away with the questions. I'm going to start with the partnerships first. So on the partnerships, are these going to be U.S. centric? Are they going to be, overseas near Australia? Where are you aiming, to land, or is it Canada? Right? I mean, there's so many countries now that you can go to and start these, talks. I'm just curious, where are the partnerships centric to geographically right now?
Well, I will tell you, we're not limiting ourselves to anything geographically. Like I said, we haven't even had to reach out as much as I expected us to, because people have come to us. But I can tell you that I've had talks with people, obviously in Canada. I'm Canadian based, the US, obviously, but also Colombia, Paraguay, Argentina. So I've had talks with people in a lot of different countries, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Nothing I can reveal yet because nothing is signed, sealed, and delivered. But there is not one specific place we're focusing on. We would like to partner, obviously, with as many dispensaries and farms as we can, and have our currency accepted as the official currency, which would allow us to achieve our goals as quick as possible.
Also, real quick on the verticals there. So on the dispensaries and the farms, are you centric to just kind of those two verticals? Because the reason I ask is some of the most, I would say, lucrative um, subsectors of cannabis can be like white labeling. It could be like used in so many different ways. I could shoot you a list. I mean, you can go down the vertical list from like real estate plays, I mean, industrial equipment, even to hemp. I mean, there's so many tie-ins that I think about, even software applications, right? So are you open, I guess, to folks that would see the same vision and exploring those verticals? Because I would hate to see you limit yourself just to farms and like dispos, right?
Well, the low hanging fruit is obviously farms and dispensaries. But I can tell you, we've had discussions with verticals already that you're hinting towards. There's hemp. There's so much stuff going on behind the scenes. But obviously, the low hanging fruit is the dispensary and the farms. But to answer your question, absolutely not limiting ourselves to that. We are open to any and all that helps us achieve our goals, which is to bring cheap, affordable medical marijuana to everyone that needs it. So absolutely not limiting ourselves to anything.
Now,
Yep.
help me and help maybe like the potential partners that are listening to this call that would be interested in talking to you, or the investors. Because what I know in the cannabis sector, being in it as literally an angel investor, at a very early time, we would like to come into projects and really embrace them. But it was all about finding your right investors, right? Because you don't want to get the money from the wrong person that doesn't really see your dream or your vision, because ultimately they don't care about the project. So the most successful cannabis companies was always the ones that had those strategic investors that, really cared about the project and the entrepreneur, right? The ones that increased the likelihood of their success, right? Because they brought different business acumen, different things, to the table. So no, I think this is great. Now tell me more about, how you're going to bridge this gap, right? Like making it more affordable, making it more, accepted, and everything you're talking about. Like, that's what I want too. So how does Ganja Token, how does DeFi, how do we do that all together is my question.
Well, I mean, sorry to always answer the questions here, guys, but the easy answer is the more partnerships we can achieve, and with the marketplace that Reese is building, the more money that we can get together will eventually allow us to purchase our own farms, open our own dispensaries, and eat a lot of that cost. Also, if we can be made the the official token for payment processing of these, we can eat any all fees, and that would automatically lower the price for all. There's many ways we can bring the prices down. Obviously, all of it takes money. That's why we're working so hard to get ourselves out there in as many places as we can and bring in as many streams as we can so we can give it all back to the community. That's the plan right now.
I was going to
Yeah,
add
that's
to
actually a great.
Taylor.
Go ahead.
I was
Go,
going to
no,
add too.
please.
So just to make sure, so this is how we think at Ganja Token as a board team. So we have multiple revenues of income coming in. So we decided we're not going to just rely on investors of our token. We're going to build an NFT marketplace as well, because we're big NFT addicts at Ganja Token as well. And we want to reduce the costs of their fees and everything. That's why we're creating this marketplace, but it'll also promote them, and the sales of every artwork on the Ganja Token NFT marketplace will be 70% of sales goes to the artist and 30% goes straight back into our liquidity, which our liquidity is locked for 100 years. So like I said, that's what another security thing I wanted to explain to everyone as well. We're a doxxed team, and we have our liquidity locked for 100 years. And when this NFT marketplace comes back, it's another profit revenue to add more value to the company. So every art sale, the price of Ganja Token goes up because 30% of that sale goes straight into that. And then we hopefully will get all artists as Ganja Token holders as well. So then once they sell their artwork with us, they get their payment for their artwork, and their investment that they're holding rises by selling their artwork. So we've got multiple different revenues. We're just, it takes a while to build out. So we've only got one developer at the moment. So I'm a coder. I'm not like Reese. Reese, when he will speak soon, he's amazing. He's, like I said, one of the best developers I've ever seen in my life. And I have to let him do his thing. I can't help him. And right now we're trying to get funding up as well to get him the team, but yeah, it just takes time. But he's been absolutely killing it. And like I said, Casey says, we eat the costs all the time. He's building a marketplace that costs up to $100,000 he would charge as a service. And he's doing that all for free for the Ganja community, just to get this marketplace out there for another revenue of income to come into Ganja Token.
I love revenue streams injecting back into the LP. That makes you a real business. That's what it's all about. That's awesome. So I want to drop back, Casey. You said something that caught my attention. You said raising the funds to get your own farms and dispos down the road. Now that's huge, because that's actually achievable through a market, or if you have streams of income like an NFT marketplace, different partnerships that are feeding back, and you're able to go out and have the financial wherewithal to purchase the licenses that would get you the farms and then the dispos, and then you ecosystem that out. Now that is a long-term play. Like, is that what you're going at when you said, that you would eventually purchase, your own farms and dispensaries? Would it be targeting mostly those license in the long run, and then using, I guess, crypto to come in and say, hey, we're going to obviously, Ethereum or Bitcoin, whichever chain that you're on, right? Right now it's Ethereum. Is that kind of the end game right there? Or, I mean, not end game, but is that where you're going with that?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at our roadmap, it ends with us purchasing and running and selling as much medical marijuana as we can for affordable prices. That's the end goal. We want to bring this to the masses at affordable prices. Now, it's a big end goal, and it's not a quick game. It's a long game, but we're here for the long game. That's why we doxed. We have no problem doxing, because we know we're going to be here for the long game. That's why we didn't want any team wallets. We wanted to buy into the token just like everybody else, because if we expect people to hold for us, we want to hold with them. We have all had successes in our life, and we're not out to make a quick buck. That's not the goal here. The goal is to help people that actually need medical marijuana. And we know we can do that and provide it at the cheapest price by eventually owning, running, and distributing with our own farms, and as many as we can. So yes, that is the end game.
Oh, that's actually really smart, man. Props to you. And you know what? There's so much space in both sectors with crypto and cannabis that, like, you can exist and do those things. And it's so beautiful to see, because that's how big of an industry it is. And also crypto is like, even bigger than that. So I always say, they go together like unicorns and glitter, man. Like, I mean, literally, it's the two, you know, wild west sectors. You know, cannabis is buttoned up, crypto's still getting there, but when you look at them, you know, from a really high bird's eye view, it's a lot of similarities, you know, in terms of regulations, different things that are coming around. So I love that you also keep using medical marijuana term. Now, from just my experience, you know, and especially being that it's a crypto play, you know, really saying that and targeting the medical side of it, especially with Curtis's daughter and himself, you know, I think that you will propel further with that. Okay. Now my question is, in terms of payment and using, right? So right now it's on the ETH chain. Now, will it remain an FTP contract and stay on like the ETH chain, or do you ever plan on, you know, maybe exploring and forking out and doing something like a BSC side or a different kind of fork that makes it where the transaction cost is going to be a lot lower? Because I will say this, like, if you do get big partnerships, I mean, just from different conversations that I've been around, you know, they're looking for the most fast, efficient, and cheapest way to do a transaction, right? So that way you can relieve the prices on each end, you know, on the buyer and the seller are patient in this matter. So what are your thoughts around that, and kind of how would it work, you know, on a transaction basis when it got to that point?
Okay, so I mean, the short answer is we discuss that sort of thing all the time. Obviously, gas fees are ridiculous with the Ethereum right now. If we had to do it all again, we may not launch on it on Ethereum to start. So yes, there is thoughts to possibly looking at other chains, but also Ethereum 2.0 with the fork could really help. So a lot of our plays are a little bit longer term plays. So we may be able to see how this process plays out just a little bit before we make any rash decisions or have to make any decisions that way when it comes to, you know, how payments are going to work, etc., and on what chain. So we have so much to build on the roadmap before that. We're kind of just waiting to see how the industry plays out right now, if that makes sense.
It
Yeah, I was
totally
going to
does.
say,
Yeah, go ahead, Curtis.
I was going to add to that. Yeah, so we decided to go on the Ethereum network because it was the safest network at the time, security wise. Because the Binance network I'm on daily and I watch it. There's about 3 rugs at least a day there. So we wanted to launch on a security side platform, you know, because we're here for the long term, and that's why we locked our liquidity as well. But me and Reese were also talking about us. Once Reese jumps on, he'll explain it to you. But there's also a bridge connection you can have where you can actually be on both Binance and Ethereum at once, and you have a connection bridge between them where you can transfer tokens and not get a fee. So we're working on that as well. And like I said, 2.0 ETH is coming out. That's the whole point of 2.0. When it forks, is minor fees. They're supposed to be exactly like Binance, nothing really. But with our NFT marketplace, we'll be starting on Ethereum and Polygon. And if you've known about the Polygon network, it's pretty much 0 fee every time you transfer or mint. So that's, like I said, we're all about reducing the costs and fees. It's just the ways around it. But the main reason we launched with FTP was because they were the most secure launch platform at the time. They were known for it, and I already coded to begin with, but they took over my code and made it a lot better. They had the liquidity as well, and like I said, we will eventually. We're in talks about it's called a bridge between the two, so we will both be running on both. We won't just stop Ethereum and fork out and leave it. We will actually keep on Ethereum and be on Binance and hopefully other networks, because we want to incorporate everyone. Because there's some people like I'm an Ethereum guy, so even though the prices are still huge, I won't buy any tokens on Binance. That's just how I am, because I'm Ethereum. I trust Ethereum. I know that's the way, and we can't just be like that. We can't just be in that one minority. We need to spread out to multiple, because there's some people on Binance that are just on Binance. They won't come over to Ethereum. So yes, we are the long-term goal is yes, we are, but that's a bit further down the roadmap, and we're just waiting to see how ETH.2 plays out as well. But yeah, like I said, we want to incorporate everyone. That's the main thing about Ganja. We're all about community, bringing it to the people, and we always accept feedback from the community. You can talk to most of our holders and people in Telegram at the moment, they've just been amazing. Every time they offer help, we pretty much executed it nearly the next day. It's just been unbelievable, the support we have from everyone. It's just so much, and there's only 3 of us on the call, so we try as hard as we can to reply to all the DMs and all the questions daily in community while working on the development side of Ganja as well. We are achieving it, we just don't sleep much. That's the only thing. But I was going to say, if Reese could get on for a little bit just to talk about the development side of things and that bridge. He's the expert with those kind of things, and about our NFT marketplace, because he hasn't spoken yet. And that's a main part about our Ganja Token, is we are big NFT people, and we want to bring in that other revenue as well, because that is another industry that's just about, well, it's pretty much booming now, but it's taking off real big. And that's why we jumped on board. I'm an NFT promoter on Twitter myself, so I get artists all the time because I do free promos, and that's why they come on board. And we've actually got 4 collaborated artists so far for Ganja Token NFT place when the shop launches in the next few weeks. So we've already got 4 artists dedicated to put their artwork on there already. So yeah, it's just good times coming ahead. But if Breeze could speak a little bit about it, because he's the tech guy about it.
All right, hey guys, I've been a bit quiet. Casey and Curtis always do well leading these AMAs, but anyway, I'll give you a little bit of my background first. I stayed quiet through the introductions. My name's Reese. I'm from Australia, and I've been a developer for 17 years now. In the more recent times, in the last 3 or 4 years, I've been more in kind of commercial software as a service development, web app development. I started a business with 2 business partners in New Zealand, just a little startup, just 3.5 years ago. And we're now serving people in 26 different countries and have 240 staff. So obviously, we built marketplaces, we built artificial image scanners, just a lot of things. So, when the whole thing of building a marketplace isn't obviously foreign to me. It's definitely a big feat to try to solo at this stage, but I'm getting through it. I'm building it on I'm using Google's cloud services for most things. So for the authentication, for the hosting, and whatnot. And I'm getting through there. So we're working on the current website. You can see when you go to it, it's just a bit of a placeholder. So we're hoping to have more of the content side of the website out within the next week or 2. It'll give a feel and a vibe of where the direction we're heading, the design, and then obviously it'll be a progressive rollout of the marketplace over the coming months. So the first stage will be more just a bit of a listing service where you kind of going to get the feel of what the marketplace is going to feel like moving around, but it's going to be third-party listings, so just off to like people's OpenSea collections and whatnot, but kind of shown within the website. And then obviously as we keep rolling it out, you end up being able to mill NFTs via website via our own smart contracts on either Ethereum or Polygon, with the options obviously import contracts from other services too, like Heritable. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so so we've got big plans, and there's a few other things with it too. We've got these heaps of different concepts as well, to other things we can do to marketplace to make it a bit different. I don't want to go into more because I want to try to keep them a bit of a secret. But one of them, which is a bit public, is which got brought up by one of our holders, and it was a great concept. Was we're talking about also in the marketplace making a trading platform, kind of like a middleman service, where it allows you to trade a handful of NFTs between one party into another party and have to accept it, just kind of for safe trades, which is, I don't think it's been done before, which will be obviously a huge step in the assisting the NFT industry grow. And obviously, yeah, then when it comes to obviously me getting involved in this project as well, obviously when Curtis came to me, so I've got a daughter who's got autism, she's got ADD, she's got PTSD, she's got a few different things. And then obviously I got my father, who he's got leukemia and lymphoma, and he's got cancer all through his body. He's got fractured discs in his spine, he's got seized hips, knees. So he uses the cannabis oil every day just for pain relief, just to get through. So obviously, when Curtis came to me with his vision and his passion for this industry, like I just snapped it up. it was a no-brainer. I was going to sit there and help, bring his vision to life. And but yeah, also in regards to what he's trying to say about the bridge, I'm sure everyone's, or most people are aware of it. It's just that Binance Smart Bridge. It just allows you to have be able to kind of launch some liquidity on the Binance Smart Chain if you want to go down that direction potentially. And then obviously as the liquidity kind of raise up a little bit, we can actually do the bridge, and then it kind of just evens out between both the coins. So because they're always going to stay in value, because obviously if it's cheaper to buy Binance, people are going to buy Binance, and then they might swap it between the Ethereum, and it will eventually even out. But obviously we're not at that stage yet. We've got a lot of things to get going first. So yeah, I'm not much of a speaker, so
you're doing great, bro. Great.
Well, hey,
yeah.
I think you did well, Reese. I appreciate you jumping on and learning a little more about yourself, your background, and also your passion behind the project. And that answered my other question, from the get-go. Like, I love to learn about the team. So, hearing you, Casey, Curtis, that it's awesome. And Curtis, my man, you're over here killing the AMA, like in a good way, with Cypress Hill in the background. I got mad respect for you, bro. Like, that's, like, it was pretty funny, like, listening, and it was awesome. So, hey, so yeah, this is a lot. I mean, the NFT marketplace coming out, I think that's great. You're already planning ahead, looking at Binance. You're talking about Polygon, which is a lot of people on this call here. We're all big ETH folks, and like we're of course, like, we have the same vision 2.0, but we are exploring a lot of other chains, right? So I would say when you drop Polygon, you start talking about these ecosystems, like, that's something that gets our attention. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions around that can't be answered now. So if anybody does have those questions, I'd recommend following up with the team here in the future as those come to development, or if they're already here and you want to speak on them, we would personally love to hear those. But I would imagine that's probably something in the future, right?
Yeah, close, bro. So we're just mainly focusing on Ethereum first, because we're I think 10 days old now, so not even 2 weeks old as a token. So we're focusing on this blockchain first, and then eventually, yes, we will, once we build up our liquidity, build up our funding, and bridge eventually over to all. Because like I said, we want to accept all communities. We don't. There's some people like you just said, you're an Ethereum guy. So am I, man. I'm an Ethereum guy, and I don't buy on Binance. But there's some people that are like that. They're on Binance. They don't buy on Ethereum, and we want to bring it to everyone. We don't want to exclude and be in a minority on one chain, but it takes time to do that. You can't just do that overnight. You can't just bridge and all that kind of things overnight. We need to build up a solid foundation on ETH first, and show the world that we're here, and then we're going to eventually bridge over to those networks when they're ready. Yes, it is in the future, and it will happen.
Yeah, no, and it's cool to hear that you're planning on that, because I can already see it as you tap into different medical, even in the U.S., and as that becomes, Canada, I mean, everywhere that's gonna offer medical and really have those partnerships, they're gonna want to explore that too. So the fact that you're already planning on that, mad props, like, I love it. Look, I get it, like, totally. I mean, I guess what I would want to see moving forward is the partnerships come to fruition, see some announcements there. I think like labs could be a really good spot to get in, simply because, if you're doing any type of research as well, like R&D, if you guys get on some type of like data analytics side of it that, highlights the new, federal research that's being funded to go into cannabis, like, that could get behind the mission statement of like, we want to help the people, right? Like, this is for the people. And that's what we do. Like, we try to get behind really strong things. So we strategically, do campaigns and different things that I can talk to you more offline about. And honestly, like, when it comes to cannabis, like, one thing people will learn about me, like, it's a very small circle in cannabis. Like, when it first started out, and really the big MSOs and the brands, it's still the same people. Like, they were investors at first, but now they're either sitting on the boards of these companies, or, they're strategic partners, or they've taken over day-to-day operations, right? So it was, really an industry that matured, and I'm glad to see crypto tying into it. So again, thank you guys. Like, I don't have any questions right now, and as people start asking here in a minute, I might, but at this point, I would like to kind of leave the floor open to my core team and also our deal flow committee that's on the call. These folks are all doxxed and members of our team. So if they have any questions, you know, I would love them to ask now and, you know, have those answered, and then we can move forward with everything. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Awesome, man. Thank you.
Fine, man.
Fine, man.
Hi, guys. My name is Jess. I had a question I see in the chat here. Once you have once you have a partnership, say with a dispensary, will 100% of their business be through your marketplace?
Okay, so short answer to that is we already have a few partnerships that are basically in place. Everyone is different. We're not going to limit ourselves to it has to be this way or it has to be that way. We are going to roll them out strategically. On our roadmap, it calls for us to get CoinGecko and CMC first. We've struggled with that because at first they thought we were promoting an illegal drug. So we got denied, and we've been denied a few times. We're working our way through that process. As we get through that process, we will start to roll out our partnerships, and everyone will be differently. If we can get to the point where we're the sole currency of a dispensary, that's great. That's a big ask right off the hop. So we just want to be accepted to start with, and we'll go from there. And if we need to take baby steps to finally take giant leaps, that's what we'll do.
Great, thank you.
Real quick, I would imagine too, those partnerships, just being in that sector, they, you know, it's very rigorous, right? And the fact if you're already on the 1 yard line, the 5, whatever terminology you want to use, that's great. I mean, because it takes a lot of legwork to push deals through in the cannabis space these days, rather than it was, you know, 5, 6 years ago. So yeah, but anyways, I'll let other people keep asking questions now. Go ahead.
I was quickly add to that too, Taylor. The reason why we have a lot of partnerships reaching out to us as well is because we have quite a big audience already global. So that's a main thing for them as well. So it's hard for cannabis. I've been speaking to a lot of dispensaries and farms. It's hard for them to promote their work, even with websites and their own Twitters, because not many people follow. But since there's a big like calling behind crypto, and within I think 2 weeks of our Twitter page being made, we got 14,000 followers. That's another big feature for us, as well as we promote our partners throughout all our socials. So it gives them more business, more investors, more buyers, etc. like that. So that's another big thing they've loved as well about us.
And also, like, you're planning on, you know, some of these funds going to charities that your community has chosen. Are these going to be like cannabis related, like maybe different, you know, I would assume like cannabis related charities, like for instance, like one that I'm a part of and not invested, but, you know, donated to heavily is the Last Prisoner Project. So we're deeply, you know, heavily tied there. You know, one of my former mentors, partners, bosses, whatever you want to call him, Steve D'Angelo runs that. He's, you know, very big in the sector. So just wondering, like, if you have anything like that, you know, on the runway, or is it all community based, and like how is that selection going to be chosen? Because I could think of just so many to throw your way, man, that could really help. And, you know, they're actually all over the place, not just US centric. So if you need any help there, like, I want all of you to know, like the team here on the call, like just reach out. You know, there's actually a lot of large time cannabis investors in our group. They're not on this call specifically, but they would want to get behind, you know, good things in that sector and in the crypto side. So again, you know, if you're looking for stuff like that, just reach out to me. I don't mind making intros for you.
Well, how we coded it at a Ganja Token is 1% of all transactions goes to charity, and we're going to be donating hopefully monthly, because it'll be a good amount of funds built up. But we only chose the first autism awareness just because we partnered with Spectra Token. They're our first partnership with Token, and that's what they're heavily involved in. And we decided we will donate our first month to them just out of respect and for the medical side research for autism. And then every month after that, we will be researching a few different which is, I would love, Taylor, if you send us a few, but because we're going to be researching a few different charities, and then once the team's got enough to put out to a vote, we're going to put about 4 or 5 out on a voting system, and then each month, the one that gets the most votes gets donated to. But we want to, like I said, spread it evenly throughout. It won't be one charity all the time. It should hopefully be each different charity each time. But we want to eventually get around to nearly every cannabis themed charity. That's what it's all about. It's to do with donating to people so they can get more research, equipment, do more studies on it, for labs, etc., like that, and for people that need it for seizures, autism, cancer, and everything like. We were real big on that. So I wanted 10% of the whole supply going to charity. But when we signed with FTP, they classify that as a team wallet. So because it's taken out of the initial liquidity, so we couldn't do it. So we had to put 100% in and change it to a 1% transaction. But I think it's every $1 million worth of sales, $10,000 is raised for charity with us.
Yeah, and then I mean, I see your other plans to roll out. I mean, I'm interested. I'm like all in it right now, but I'm looking at the merchandise that could seriously pop. Obviously, the NFT shop, the festivals. Like, man, if you tap in on anything like that, like, I mean, I'm flying to Vegas for MJ Biz, right? So like we do a lot of those shows, things like that. If you start getting into those, I mean, those make a lot of money. You know, and then the medical research. I mean, there's BDS Analytics that I used to be partnered with. If you guys want to give those folks a look, really good folks. And then in terms of medical marijuana organizations like NCIA, if you want to give those guys a look, I'm a member there. And then MMP, like I can make some introductions there. But all this like really aligns with, you know, a lot of groups visions, and it's really on that side of the game. But what I would say is, you know, just, you know, it would be the crypto and cannabis merger part, I think, and that's where, you know, your team would excel in bridging that gap, right, and explaining like how that would work. But I know when it comes to autism, when it comes to all these different things, you know, they're really big on it. So, you know, I know that this is possible because I've done like your roadmap, not specifically with NFTs, but in terms of like scaling a cannabis business, or like say 100 of them the same way with partnerships. Like those are going to be your key. But anyways, I can't ask any more questions. It's my team's turn. So please, if anybody on the core team wants to fire away, go for it.
I have a couple of questions that I'm going to read from people that are on the deal flow committee, but they're not able to speak because of the time constraint, like they're in another part of the world. So, and then Pablo is going to also ask a couple of questions. So I'm going to start with Karani had a question about marketing. He wanted to know if you guys have a set marketing campaign, or are you guys still in the planning phase? He just wants some clarification. I know that I could see that there are some things that you guys discussed about marketing, but of course he's not here. And so, so yeah, basically he wants some clarification, and he wants to know if you guys already have the plans for marketing, can you share some of the highlights with us?
Okay, so we do have an extensive marketing roadmap. It's kind of what I do. I build marketing roadmaps. So yes, we have one built. We also know how we're rolling it out. We want to do it very strategically. So this is kind of a crappy answer, but I don't want to give you too many highlights because you only get one kick at the can at building the momentum you need to make a strong base in a sustainable coin. So the short answer is yes, we have a very extensive and well-detailed marketing roadmap, and we will be rolling it out, but it starts with CoinGecko and CMC, which we've been a little delayed on. But that's basically the only answer I can give you on that one right now.
Gotcha.
I was going to say as well, I'm friends with a lot of social influencers around the world through Pokemon and through NFT places. So, and I always get shout outs and stuff like that as well for free promo. So we try to reduce the cost on everything as well, but the team pays for everything. We don't use any funds from Ganja or any marketing wallets to pay for this. We actually pay for this out of our own pockets while buying into Ganja as well.
I'm glad that you said that. That was actually one of our deal flow committee members' questions. JP, he's also not able to be here because of the time where he's located, and so he did ask that. How do you guys? Well, actually, he asked, how do you guys plan on paying for the festival? Will that be paid with the coins, or will that be paid out of your own pockets?
So it's that would be through the development cost and through partnerships, and like I said, we're going to be reducing the costs on everything. So it will be through our token itself. But yeah, it's definitely going to happen. It's very possible that we just got to work around the COVID situation at the moment. So that's the main reason we built this festival. So we'll have cannabis themed celebrity rappers, music artists, etc. there. But to build that foundation, we need more funding through, it's part of our development costs, and also we will be funding the project as well, but our partnerships will be as well, because we will have marijuana stalls throughout the whole festival with our partners displaying and selling their own products, etc. like that. It's a big plan ahead, but we're slowing that down a little bit as well, just due to the COVID situation at the moment. Like, I'm in Gold Coast, Australia, and I've just gone into another 7-day lockdown today. So it's hard to get a music festival going when most of the world are, in a lockdown, etc. But it will most likely be in the USA, because that's where a lot of our business happens, and we're just going to be working on it from them. But yes, it is definitely going to happen, and it's one of the main things we want for our Ganja community. Just another little good thing for them to have while holding their tokens. The top 50 holders actually get in for free, and with VIP access. And all payments will be only made in Ganja Token and Ethereum, and they'll be through our website. So it'll be the first ever festival, music festival, that will only be paid for with cryptocurrency. So we're trying to get in, other people as well to crypto, like music influencers, etc. Just if they want to come to our festival, they'll have to purchase crypto and then pay for the ticket that way.
Yeah, you guys could come do it in Florida. We're like never locked down. And I have one more question from someone else, from JP as well, and then I guess Pablo could go ahead and ask his. The last question from JP was, you guys stated that you wanted to be used as currency for marijuana purchases. How will you make that happen? I guess he's saying, instead of any other well-established currency. So I asked him to clarify what he meant by that, and he said like Bitcoin or ETH. And even though you guys said that that's what you're going to be used, ETH is going to also be accepted. But I guess he just wants to know how exactly you plan on using that, and if it doesn't need to be converted to be used. Is this question?
Well, the end game of Ganja Token is to have our own farms and dispensaries. So we will partnership throughout our roadmap and build dispensaries and farms in partnership with them, and they will use our tokens as accepted currencies. But at the end game is to own our own. So then once we've built up a big enough audience, they know us, we build our own farm, our own dispensaries, we actually lower the whole cost of the market, and it's either the partners and our fellow competitors follow suit, or we will take the business over by force by reducing the cost. Because if you reduce the cost by by about a third, if you reduce it by, that's what I'm hoping for, about a third of what it currently is, we will get all the business. That's just how it works in the world. If it's the same price, same quality, same product, same everything, and it's a third of the price, everyone will jump on board.
Gotcha. Pablo, you want to ask your question? And then
Yeah, absolutely.
whoever else.
So this is on behalf of one of our members, Karani. You'd like to ask, why is the audit included in phase 2 and not phase 1?
It's the first part of phase 2. So the reason phase 1 was just building the foundation. We have the liquidity locked for 100 years, and we're signed with FTP, which is an anti-bot launch pad system. So we wanted to assure everyone that our launch was legit. It was rug proof. It was secure, we can't touch the liquidity for 100 years. And then once we get all our partnerships and everything sorted, that's when we can do our audit. We don't really want to do an audit straight away. It's just as a cryptocurrency company, because we actually are going to be an NFT marketplace. We're actually going to be accepted for sales in a few partners as well, with dispensaries and farms. So we need to make sure they're all signed and dotted with all that before we can actually do the audit. But that's why we made sure we wanted all our security precautions done beforehand. So we've done everything but the audit, and the audit is coming. We're just, like I said, waiting to sign our last little few details.
It's also cost cutting. So audits can cost quite a lot of money. Obviously, when we're starting to get off the ground, that money can be better spent, especially when we're launching on a known platform too. So obviously the contracts are coming from FTP, and there's plenty of FTP launches already. So if we had our own, if we were launching, a new crypto on our own code, or people probably want to have an audit to, understand and trust the code and make sure there's no security flaws. But launching with an established thing, even when we do the audit, is just going to be I guess it's just have the piece of paper. It's not, I don't strongly believe that we've been on FTP, we need the audit, but we're going to just do it. But obviously it wasn't included on the first step because it's just unnecessary money, in our opinion, from launch when we're using FTP.
And also, I would take a look at our partners, Safe Solidity. They're really great, very progressive in the space. I think they're really ahead of their time, but they're doing certificates, and they also take a look at audits. So if you guys would like an introduction to the team there, again, they're fabulous, and we'd be happy to, send you over at least so they can get you taken care of. And it's not as, capital intensive as you're probably imagining from folks like Certic and some of the bigger ones, but they do just about as good as work, as if not better, in my opinion. So.
Cool.
Definitely
We'll
be interested in that.
Definitely.
Awesome. I do have another question from Karani as well. And he'd like to ask if there's any approximate dates for each phase, or will we know closer as we get to that?
Kind of the same answer is we want to roll it out strategically. We know which way we want to roll it out. We've wanted to roll out some stuff already, but we're waiting for CoinGecko and CMC. So I can't give you any dates. I can tell you that we've made some big progress on those fronts. Reese deals with them daily, and we think we have it licked now. So we're hoping for some good news in the next 24 or 48 hours. And then we might be able to get a better time frame of when we're going to roll stuff out, how we're going to roll it out, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, we didn't believe, because that's why we had CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap listings at the top of our roadmap, because we thought it'd be quite an easy process. We didn't realize, and now since it's part of our roadmap, it's stalled the rest. It's nearly all complete, but we can't move forward and do announcements until we've completed that part of the roadmap, because that's at the start. So it's it's just another learning curve. We've got it all sorted. It should be in the next 48 hours, like Casey said, but we didn't realize it would be this long of a process to get us listed. This is another thing we want to change as well in the world, the stigma behind marijuana, because like I said, we got classified as sensitive material, which I think is totally unacceptable. If you read our website and everything, it's all to do with medical marijuana and sales of legal marijuana. But we believe that the reason why is because it says of all sales instead of legal sales. That's a little loophole we thought that we came into a problem, and which we fixed, and now they're just going from there and waiting on their last response.
Honestly, that leads me to a question that I had, and I want after I ask this question, I have like 2 questions that are my own for anyone else on the deal flow committee that wants to ask a question to hop in. But so that was I know you guys said something about partnerships with like Visa and MasterCard, and I know I've attempted to purchase cannabis related products with the debit card. I'm in Florida, so I don't know if it's different where any of you guys are, but they would not allow me to do that. I had to use cash. So I wanted to know, I don't know if there's some kind of legal stipulation, or how is it that you guys plan on getting these partnerships with that stigma that's attached to marijuana or cannabis, and with that not being an option that's available in most states, at least to my knowledge.
Casey will explain it a bit as well, but it's a lot easier. So with cryptocurrency, to accept us and to buy, you have to buy through an exchange, through your wallet, your hot wallet, or whatever you've got. But if we have the cards that you can actually put your tokens onto and have a balance, it's a lot easier process for dispensaries to get the payments through with our cryptocurrency. So, and it'll have their own ATM accepting systems as well for the cryptocurrency and everything like that. But that's the main goal, is just to make it easier process for the dispensaries and farms to use our products as well. So it will tackle everything at once. So it'll break down that current law where they only want cash, because once they start accepting our currency and our cards, other debit cards and credit cards will get accepted as well. So it's a barrier all at once, but it's definitely achievable. And the partners we talk to at the moment think it's a lot easier concept than doing it through a Coinbase wallet or something like that. So so it's very possible, and it will happen. It just takes time. And Casey can explain a little bit more on it as well. I believe he was dealing with the Visa and debit side as well.
So just to be clear, I have had some initial talks, and actually spoke with someone who's on this call today, on this call right now, actually, about a debit card, which would be a Visa debit. Now, I haven't really dug in with actual Visa and MasterCard per se, but the debit card is definitely very, very doable, and something that we're going to roll out fairly quickly. We know of another token that we have all been involved with, who has just partnered with this company to roll out a debit card. So that is in our plans as well. And I was actually starting to arrange a call on that particular topic today. So it is possible. I haven't had an actual discussion with Visa or MasterCard yet, but it is all on the roadmap.
And by the way, it's part 4 as well, guys. That one, that's right near the end. That's to do with our completion of our marketplace, the takeover of, not takeover, the buying of farms and dispensaries. And then the Ganja card will be accepted in partner dispensaries before this, but it was mainly to be the sole card for our dispensary and our farm. But we've decided to bring it closer to part 2 of the roadmap, instead of trying to bring it out with our dispensary partners, not just accepting it on our hot wallets, actually having a card to go with it.
Gotcha. Anyone on the deal flow committee have any questions?
I have to say, Curtis, I think you and Casey and Reese knocked all of our questions out the park tonight, my friend. I appreciate it. It's this was a great AMA. I'm actually really impressed. Not that I wasn't before, but even more now with just how you've done this and hearing it through your own words tonight. And I think it's been great. So I just want to thank you for letting us give you the platform to come on here and tell the world about it. Like, I'm happy to share it.
Yeah, Taylor, I want to thank you and your team as well, because we definitely wanted to get out here and, get with DeFi and get the word out there. But a couple of the things that you've mentioned today and some of the partnerships that you can bring to fruition, I'm definitely interested in exploring with you. So I've got you on Telegram, but I would definitely like to speak in depth with you about some of the things that you have mentioned and some of the things we might be able to do together, because I can tell you're passionate for the whole marijuana project as well. So I'm looking forward to some of the stuff we can do together.
And I want to say too, Taylor, how I said I stalked Reese and Casey at the beginning. Remember I told you I stalked you as well. You reached out to me the day I was gonna reach out to you.
And in the Deal Flow channel, and then it's funny, you were like, I know you. I was like, oh, well, perfect. Well, then we need to talk right now. So No, absolutely. And Casey, yeah, I mean, it ties deep with me. I was there like literally when it was Cowboys and Indians. And I always say it comparing it to DeFi because we all are in DeFi even sooner than I was in cannabis. And we did really, really well in the cannabis sector. And it's, if you look at prohibition, of alcohol at least, who was it? Joseph Kennedy showed everybody best, right? He created 98% of his wealth through that time of the prohibition of alcohol. So what it taught really a lot of folks is, in industries, when you can time the market positioning in terms of federal like legalization and prohibition, that's when you can create generational wealth, and that's what cannabis is doing. And when you look back all the way in I believe 40s, 50s, whenever Joseph Kennedy did the prohibition, and all that wealth was accrued, it's still being regulated to this day, the alcohol industry. So when you think about cannabis, it's slightly regulated. It's still so gray. I just see it being there for a long time to come. And when you see cryptocurrency rapidly growing, having less stigma, but can also interact, and really the investor base is a lot similar too, right? So I just think it's great. And yeah, I'm happy to help also. If you want an introduction with anybody, I'm happy to. I have a large network. I dropped my LinkedIn here in the chat, so you can kind of go there and see who I've worked with and who I've been involved with. But yeah, that's what the industry in cannabis is all about, is networking and connecting the right people with the other right people and going to an ultimate goal for success in a greater world. And that's what we're trying to do exactly here in DeFi. I've taken the same exact module that I scaled a large cannabis PE firm with into the DeFi world now. Mimicked it exactly, patched a couple holes here and there where I fell on my face in my past. But, it's just great. So I'll stop there. But yeah, just reach out to me, and I certainly don't mind making some connections for you, my friend.
So I have one more question. Sorry. I have one more question. And I'm sorry because you wrapped it up so nicely and I really didn't want to interrupt, but I do have a question, if that's okay. I wanted to know what ERC20 tokens were you considering partnering up with? And what exactly did that mean? Did you have any specific ones?
So we're partnered with Spectra Token at the moment. So they're a Binance coin. So that's, like I said, why we'll eventually be going to all networks. But the reason we partnered with them was mainly to do with just charity and to expand to promote their message as well. Because like I said, they're all with autism awareness, and they actually have their own autism NFT marketplace they're building themselves as well. So it was just mainly a partnership just to spread both each other's messages and to donate to charities together as well.
Okay, so then the ERC20 partnerships that you guys spoke of, that's not something that's happening now, like that's for the future?
It's in works at the moment. So we're talking to a few other tokens right now, especially with FTP. That every FTP token has been amazing. They've all reached out, and we're just like I said, we can't announce anything at the moment because we haven't done it officially on any of our socials. But yes, we are talking to a few other FTP tokens that want to partner with us.
Gotcha. Okay, that was it. Those were all my questions. Thank you guys so much.
Again, thank you from the Angels. Like, this was a great AMA, and we'll be sure to get you over and recording right after this call. And yeah, we'll even do a little graphic and a YouTube and get that up so we can share it amongst the communities and with prospects around the world that are interested in Ganja Token and DeFi. Like I said, cannabis and crypto go together like unicorns and glitter. So I'm going to end on that statement, and I just want to thank you all for jumping on again, and cheers, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, Taylor. Appreciate letting us be on here. We really wanted to get on DeFi Angels. One of our main goals is an AMA. And I also will blast the voice on all our socials as well, the recording.
Sounds good. So at this time, we'll part ways as friends. We like to talk amongst the community after we speak and have AMAs. So we'll be following up with you shortly with the recording, and then just stand by and you'll be hearing from us already.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man. Appreciate it.
Cheers, y'all. Bye-bye.
Cheers all.
Bye.